Hey, read through the word. Today is February 12th, and today's lesson is called Rest. And so this week you shall see me in more Valentine shirts. So, I want to show you that one. And, it has all sorts of things about love. Unfailing love, faith, hope, and love. God is love. Love is kind. Love is, I think this is patient. Love each other deeply. That's what it says. Okay, so we are in Exodus chapter 35, verses 1 through 3. It says this. Then Moses called together the whole community of Israel and told them, "These are the instructions the Lord has commanded you to follow. You have 6 days each week for your ordinary work. But the seventh day must be a Sabbath of complete rest, a holy day dedicated to the Lord. Anyone who works on that day must be put to death. You must not even light a fire in any of your homes on the Sabbath." Excuse me. Okay, that's it. I want to talk about rest today. And I'm hoping that as we go through Exodus, and then hold on, Leviticus is coming, and I promise we can do it. That we can understand the difference in some things and what we're saying about rest. And so I want to talk about rest, and a thing that made me see rest completely different in scripture. But I want to tell a story too, and hopefully I have the time to do it. I'll talk fast. So I was, I guess, let's say in my late 30s, early 40s. I was the girl who tried to do it all. I was teaching Sunday school. I was teaching a Wednesday night class. I was teaching in ladies' Bible studies on Tuesday mornings and Tuesday nights, and I was a co-director of a ladies' ministry for over 10 years. And we cooked meals for everybody, and we did all of that. I was homeschooling my children, and I ran a homeschool co-op. So I was trying to be that person. And the Lord impressed upon me to slow down, and I never listened. I never got the idea of rest. Because I was that girl in school that if there was a club, I was a member of it. When I was in college, I was never good at sitting. I still feel very guilty about it, but I've realized a lot through what the Lord has taught me, the importance of rest for a purpose. But in college, I worked full time. I was telling a student today that probably my senior year of college, I did 18 credit hours, worked a full-time job as well. And that's insane to look at now that I did it. And maintained an A average. So I would strive on stress. And one of the things Wendy tells me all the time when she asks me, like I've learned how to say no. She always tells me, like, "Lisa, do you want to help teach? Do you want to teach at Determined this year? Do you want to teach?" And she always tells me, "No is an acceptable answer, Lisa. You can say no. That's fine." And I'm at the point now in my life, I'm able to, as you know from Determined last year, I was able to say no. But this idea, I just never got the idea of rest. Now I understand it now. I was doing strivings in my own power and trying to say, look, that I could do all these things. Well, you know what? It led me, I still remember that when I had my concussion a few years ago, y'all remember that? I knew the Lord was telling me to slow down. I knew he was telling me to slow down, and I was not listening. And so he made me slow down. I had the concussion, and then I got not far past that, and then I had cancer. And so I get it now. I feel like I live a lazy life now because I live at a slower pace than I ever did. I understand the importance of rest. And I understand of what God's saying here. And what is going on is that we have all been, and I'm not saying either be lazy either. We've all been given tasks by God to complete since Adam and Eve were tasked with working the Garden of Eden. They were told to tend and guard the garden. They were to form and fill. That's what they're supposed to do. And that was before sin entered the world. So work was meant for us to enjoy it as a blessing from God. So we're not supposed to not do things for the Lord because that's what he's given us to glorify him with, and he's blessed us with it. But if we look at the creation account, we will see that man was created on day 6 of creation. So Adam and Eve are the pinnacle of creation on day 6. God creates the land animals, and then he forms Adam, and then forms Eve. The whole going from Elohim to Adonai, and he gets personal and he gets in there, and this is day 6. So if we want to look at that, on day 6 of creation, Adam and Eve are created. On day 7, their first day was rest. Day 7 was their first day of life. So the purpose of the day of rest was for them to realize their utter dependence on God. And that's what it's for. The day of rest is for us to realize our utter dependence on God. No more striving. No more stressing. No more trying to do it all. You can do it all. You can do it all. You can do it all. You're not supposed to do it all, and you're supposed to realize you're not supposed to do it all, nor can you. You cannot, without him, we can do nothing. And that's the purpose of rest. A day of rest is meant for us to focus on our dependence on God and focus on our abiding with God. That would have been Adam and Eve, so we've been given a pattern. Adam and Eve's first day would have been dwelling with God, that abiding with him. We're not given details of that day. It just says on day 7 that God had rested. And Adam and Eve spent that day with him. And we could go, as usual, we could go into a whole lot more about this. But the purpose of this day of rest and remembering a Sabbath day, and we'll get into that later, remembering this day is that we realize that God is sovereign over all of my days. And it is necessary for that day of rest in him. The fact that he is in control and I am able to wait, but he's in control of all of my days. He's in control of all 7, all 365, or 366, all of my days. He is in control of. The point is for me to sit and rest, to abide in him, to see that I am able to wait and rest because I am in control of nothing. It's a day for us to realize he's in control of everything. And so establishing a discipline of resting from activity enables us to hear from God, to receive guidance and strength, and to focus on our relationship with him. That's what it's supposed to be about. That if we really, really focus in on that He's in control of all things, that all days belong to Him, that I sit on that day, and the whole point is not for us to rest from our work. That's not the point. So it's supposed to be that day, if we would get in our minds right. I was talking to the other teachers at my school about this the other week, and so when I got this is what I knew. This is where I needed to go with this, because we had this conversation about if we understood this day of rest is for us to align ourselves with our Creator, that we were made in His image and that we were made to glorify Him, and that our life, this is a day of worship, to ascribe to Him the worthiness that He is due, that from that we are filled, and then we work from our rest. We don't rest from our work, we work from our rest. So we do not rest from work, we work from our rest, because the rhythms of our lives are meant to be set by our rest in Him. If we would get that, it would change everything. It really would. We'll see you next time on Read the Word.